What would you say are your key steps or protocols for prepping cattle for kind of that fall receiving time period, if you don't mind sharing?
It's no problem at all. So we're real big and key on getting these cattle in. So our cattle and most of my clients' cattle come in from sale barns. So we get these cattle in from the sale barns. We want to rest them overnight. Good quality hay, good quality water. But we want to get these cattle processed as soon as we can. Get them processed and get them turned back out into pasture or go to their home trap where they're going to be on feed. But that's the biggest thing, is not holding these cattle up. Getting them processed after a 24-hour rest. Let's get them processed. Let's get them turned out where they can acclimate and adjust to the pasture or the traps that they're going to be in for the next couple of weeks. That's a real big key for us. The other thing is keeping those trap sizes or those lot sizes small. So the amount of cattle that we can put together in 2 or 3 days to where we can close out a lot, the max of 1 week. We don't want to add cattle to a lot over 1 week. That's sort of our cutoff right there. We see a lot of trouble if we're increasing this lot size and adding to it over more than a week's worth of time.
Okay. Now, so that's great for people who they're receiving the cattle. I'm curious, for the ranchers who are selling the cattle, is there anything they can do if they're selling through the barn ahead of time that is beneficial for the health of those overall cattle beforehand?
Yes, if we can get some pre-weaning vaccines into those cattle, whether they be modified live or killed. If we're killed, we want 2 rounds of those. But either of those are going to help us in the next phase of the industry when they go into the background, when they go into the feed yard. But, castrate those bull calves as soon as possible. Let's get a clostridial vaccine in there, and then let's get some viral respiratory vaccines in there and deworm those calves before they get sent off to the sale barn and to, if you're selling them private treaty, if you're selling them on video, any of those. Let's just think about the good of the industry and how much we can benefit the next phase of the industry. And it all leads back, if you have a sound set of calves, and I'm used to buying those calves from you every year, and we establish this, and I know your vaccination program's working, then I can really afford to pay you more for those calves than if I don't have any data on those calves and I'm just taking a risk on what my health is going to be when I buy these calves and going into them sort of blind.
Absolutely. Now, as you are helping your clients and other producers, what are some common issues you see them experience during this fall receiving time period? And then after that, would you mind sharing kind of some solutions or how you would address those challenges?
Yeah, so one of the biggest problems that we see here in Central Texas going into the fall on these weaned calves, if they're coming straight off the cow-calf or if they're going through the sale barn, is coccidiosis. So coccidiosis is a major problem for us. Any kind of stress that gets in these calves, we'll start seeing coccidiosis issues. And if we see that bloody stool that we're all sort of used to, that's sort of the tip of the iceberg. Once we get to that point, we've already got a depressed immune system in those calves. So we're real big on getting these calves in and running a coccidiostat through the whole group to try to suppress those levels of coccidiosis, whether it be feed or in the water. Either one of those there, as soon as we get that lot size shut down, we'll want to treat the water or the feed to reduce that chance of coccidiosis outbreaks running through these calves. The other thing that we're always really concerned about is short-term weaned calves. So calves weaned maybe up to like 2 weeks. Those we see a lot of health issues in. So we would rather have them come straight off the cow, straight to us, or they really need to be weaned for at least 45 days before we get them. The highest risk calves we see are those short-term weaned calves where they're maybe weaned for like 2 or 3 weeks and then they get sent to a background or a stocker operation. Those calves really wreak a lot of havoc in our system right there. So either straight off the cow or let's wean them for a true 45 days before we send them somewhere.